and they melted down. Oh, this is awesome. Good morning, Scott. How are you doing today?
Kayleen, I am doing great. How are you?
I am terrific. I love our new background screen. This is the fanciest, like, ooh, version 2.0. Here we go.
Big time. I love it.
I love it too. I've been traveling a ton, but Scott, how are you doing this morning? What's new?
Well, I am doing great. I just got back from West Palm Beach, Florida. Have you ever been to West Palm Beach?
I have many, many years ago.
All right, so there is another amazing house. You know, we talked about the Biltmore on one of our calls. There's a house in West Palm Beach called the Flagler Museum. It's actually, he called it Whitehall. It was his winter retreat. And it is an amazing house. It was built back in 1905, I believe is when it was constructed. And it is amazing. You would absolutely love it. But, you know, and I grew up in Florida, so I had always heard about Henry Flagler. But I never knew exactly who he was. You know, he built a lot of railroads right down into Florida. He basically built a whole railroad system all the way down the east coast of Florida, down like from Jacksonville down all the way down to the Keys. If you know anything about Florida, that's a long state.
That's huge.
But what was so interesting is he would build these really cool hotels. And then he realized he needed a way for people to get to the hotels, because keep in mind, this was before automobiles or airplanes, certainly. And so he built all these railroads to get people to be able to get to his hotel properties. And so anyway, fascinating guy. I'm so excited. I'm buying books and learning as much as I can about him. But I loved visiting his house. And so if you're ever in West Palm Beach, be sure and go to the Flagler Museum, because it is his personal house that he built. And it is amazing. The architecture is amazing. The construction's amazing. One of my favorite things is he actually has one of his rail cars, I think it's rail car number 91, that they preserved, and it's on display at this mansion in Florida. And you can actually go in the rail car. You can see what it looked like. This was his personal rail car that he traveled around Florida on. But I absolutely loved it. It was just a reminder of what a cool industry we're in, that we have people who build these incredible structures that stand for over 100 years. And so definitely something you'll want to check out if you're in Florida.
Yeah, in a heartbeat. I cannot wait. And I love to, imagine back then traveling by rail. It seems very fun and almost romantic, but very hard way to travel as well. But I'm sure the finishes were exquisite. And yeah, if he had enough money to build a hotel and then trains to get folks there, I'm sure it's beyond gorgeous and fabulous. I love it. I'm writing it down. The Flagler Museum. I'll absolutely go there.
Museum. And then the other cool thing is his hotel. One of his hotels is still standing. It's called the Breakers. And it's right in West Palm. And it's amazing too. It's you can see it from his house. It's actually kind of on the other end of the lawn. It's over on the ocean. And it's amazing too. It's an amazing structure to walk. It's over 100 years old as well. So definitely something you'll want to do if you're in South Florida anytime soon.
Yes, that sounds like the best vacation ever. I'm going to take a rail trip and go tour some nice facilities. Well, I have something to geek out and share this week. I received this amazing piece of art in the mail from our lovely Victoria, but I think this encompasses me pretty well. I love the smell of sawdust in the morning. I love it so much. I cannot wait. I'm going to put this inside my house, obviously. And I've been on the road for so long. I miss sawdust, Scott. I really miss working and making a mess. So I was very excited to come home and see that. I'm like, yep, I do. I love the smell of sawdust. And so this is a very exciting week too, because we're going to be interviewing Stacy Perlman, and she's a principal at Mountain Park Elementary School. And I'm thrilled because Mountain Park Elementary School, they've been really kind of forward thinking, really active with SEFCA. And so, I'm excited that we're geeks for the industry, but then also our guest is helping young students also become geeks for the industry as well.
She is, and she's a tremendous champion here in Georgia. If we could just figure out how to clone her, and send her all over the United States, we could have little, young builders crawling all over the country. And so, but we love Stacy, just so thankful to have her here in Georgia. And we just love her energy and leadership, and so excited that we get to talk with her today.
Yes, me too. In fact, yeah, that'll be great. And then we're also going to be chatting with Clint Pruitt, who is helping assist that program locally, but is also a member of SEFCA. So, ooh, it's a fun day.
It is. And I can't wait to sit back and watch. And then, of course, I'll be back on at the end of the program to share any additional thoughts that I have after listening to Clint and Stacy.
I love it. Yeah. So all of our fans watching, please feel free to ask Scott all sorts of questions because we're going to have a very interesting show. In fact, Stacy's now joining us. And so, yeah, we're ready for a great day. Oh, bye, Scott. We'll see you in a minute. Good morning, Stacy. How are you doing today?
Hi, great. How are you?
I am absolutely terrific. Thank you so much for taking the time to have lunch with us. I am thrilled to chat with you because what you're doing over at Mountain Park Elementary is really impressive. And so my first question to you is, why do you think construction is a good program for students to be involved in?
Thank you so much for having me. Two things about that. One is that we have a really exciting opportunity here in the Roswell cluster of schools where our middle school and our high school have the feeder program for construction. So that is something that is unique to our community and also a great opportunity for students. So it was a natural avenue for us to become involved at the elementary level because our students have the opportunity to continue that education in middle school and in high school. Aside from just our unique situation here in Roswell, we also at our school just really believe in giving kids lots of opportunities to explore new things and provide enrichment. So this, after we became involved with an after school club through School Toolbox and saw the interest, we had more students who wanted to participate than we had spaces for. We knew there was an appetite for it. And so when opportunities came up for us to expand and offer it to more students, we jumped at that and we're really excited to give our kids that opportunity.
I love it because I wish that I could go back to elementary school and be inspired like these young students are. And it's, because we get to play with blocks and now they get to continue that. And I think really it's a nice way for students to learn math too. It's such a beautiful language. And so the fact that it's a little bit more applied math instead of just theory. Was Mountain Park the first to have this type of course in Fulton County?
We are the first at the elementary school level. And I love that you brought up the part about the math because we've had a team of teachers working with Clint Pruitt, who taught our class last year, this spring and into the summer on really taking those math standards that students are learning in class and fitting them into those lessons in construction where they can actually, while they're doing area and perimeter, they can apply it in their projects. And we're very excited about that. And also that there were just classroom teachers who took their knowledge and were able to pair it with the knowledge of the people in working with the construction.
I love it. I love it so much. And these pictures that we're bringing up right now are fantastic, showing the students in action. And, I understood the Pythagorean theorem, but I didn't really comprehend it until I framed a wall and squared it up. And it was like, gosh, now we're giving that opportunity for students to understand. So since you were the first and you're charging and leading the way, what have been some of the biggest challenges in incorporating this into the school day?
Honestly, I don't think scheduling has been a challenge at all. We experienced a lot of challenges because it was a crazy school year, and sometimes we were at school and sometimes we weren't. And I mean, to Mr. Pruitt's credit, we made that work. Kids were taking things home and they were still learning and it was still happening, even though we were switching back and forth. I think scheduling wise, it's ideal because we're looking for a fifth sort of special opportunity in elementary schools for students to have a special area class each day. So construction fits into our schedule perfectly. We were able to, and also with the overlap in applying math skills and building vocabulary and working on those career awareness skills also, it kind of covered some of the things that we need to do through a really exciting hands-on opportunity.
It is like, okay, now we get to play and have a good time. So what has been some of the feedback from students and teachers?
So interestingly, before we even asked for feedback, we were getting feedback, which was exciting. We had kids who were building projects at home and bringing them in. Look what I made based on what I learned in class. And I decided to keep on going and go further, which was very exciting. We had lots of parents just shooting emails back. Like one parent in particular, she messaged me on Facebook because I had posted something. And she said, my kid really doesn't like anything at school. And now he's super excited because he does construction, which
I love it.
Is awesome. So I think all of the students enjoyed it, but it really did tap into some students who they hadn't found their favorite thing yet, and this became their favorite thing.
Yes, and I love it so much because we know statistically that students are going to be more participatory words this morning in school if they're part of a CTE program, because now, you know, maybe you aren't that great at math or reading, but we're applying it in a way that makes it so easy to digest. We're like sneaking zucchinis into brownies. It's pretty awesome, right? So how else did the students benefit from this class?
Well, I think you just touched on it too, that confidence builder. So some of those students who may have been just a standout star in construction class, they weren't in that same sort of role in any other place. And so it gave some kids an opportunity to really shine. And in addition to just building skills, you know, be a leader or be a model. I know I was in class one day and I noticed one of our students who, I mean, he's a good student, but just an average student. Everyone was really struggling. They were building these floating shelves and they were trying to figure out how to approach once they flipped it over to the next side and it wasn't balanced on the table, you know, and they had directions and they were getting help, but some people were really like waiting for the help. And I watched this one person, I mean, he just solved it immediately. And, you know, he was able to then help the people around him, which isn't an experience that that student had in a regular academic environment. So it's really exciting to see some students able to embrace those opportunities and really grow in their leadership development and grow in their confidence.
Oh, this makes me so happy. Oh my gosh, I'm sending you a virtual high five because really what you're doing for these students, it's wonderful. And you know, there has been some pushback sometimes from leadership as far as incorporating classes like this in other parts of the country. Georgia is definitely leading the pack, which is great. But, you know, education is always changing. And so your support with this is absolutely wonderful and it's going to benefit the students. How do you hope to include hands-on approach in the future? Like what in future curriculum, how do you hope to include hands-on activities?
So I think this opportunity for our school, one of the reasons why it's been a really good fit, and I think I've gotten some undue credit for making this happen when really SEFCA has made this happen. Fulton County Schools has supported it and made it happen. And I mentioned earlier, all we've done is say yes. You know, we've been open to the opportunity and really happy to help work through this sort of soft start and figure out how to do it. Our school already has a philosophy of really doing a lot of hands-on and project approach learning. So this was a perfect fit to build on that and continue those opportunities. And I think schools really have learned a lot over time and are certainly looking for more hands-on opportunities. We know kids learn better if they're applying and doing. And so this is a natural fit for that.
It really is. You know, any words of wisdom or advice that you would want to share with the school who's thinking about starting a program like this?
I would say listen to the experts.
Very good.
Construction. And then, you know, we know school, we know kids, and if we can make it fit into our schedule, if we're listening to the needs of the people who are trying to make it happen, that's going to make it successful. I think also doing a lot of communicating and checking in along the way to make sure that we're aligned on our expected outcomes and that we are giving enough leeway and enough room within our parameters so that, like I said, the people who know how to do this are able to implement.
I love that advice. That's very, very smart. One last question. What has been one of your favorite moments of incorporating this construction into the school's curriculum?
I would say going in the classroom, and like I used the example of that student who just, you know, watching him really like be an expert in something that came naturally to him, and other kids who, you know, might be the best math student, they were like, I have no idea how to do this. And they're needing to go to him for his skills was really helpful. And also seeing how the kids did things on their own. Like they weren't told to go home and figure out a project. It just became, it was organic the way that they embraced it and have learned. And even, I mean, my daughter was in some of those pictures. You know, she was someone who was like, okay, cool, we're having construction. She wasn't particularly excited about it before she started. But then, you know, when she brought home those floating shelves, she's like, Mom, I need to paint these. We're going to hang them in my room. And now she knows how to do some things, whether or not she ever goes on to take more CTE classes. She has skills from 5th grade that will serve her for life.
Oh, absolutely. You know, at the minimum, she will become a better consumer because when she needs to install those shelves in the future, she can either hire a pro or do it herself. It's brilliant. It's so smart. I love it. Well, I do also want to bring in Clint because we've mentioned him a few times. He's been your on-site champion for this program. And he has helped develop the pilot program that's being used at the school. And so, hey, Clint, Clint, how's it going today?
Great. How are you?
I am terrific. You know, this has been awesome to chat with Stacy. Oh, bye, Stacy. We'll see you in a second. Sorry. Bye. Hi, Clint. So, Clint, why do you feel it's so important for students to have the opportunity to build at an elementary school age?
I think it is a great age for them to start seeing that there are some different pathways other than just going to college where they can make a great career. I also think it's on an individual level, I think it's great for their confidence. I think it's great for them to produce something that they can take pride in, that they've built themselves. I can't tell you how many parents have came to me and said that their child is so proud of something that they built. They had never touched a hammer and a nail, and they were just so pleased by it. And I think that self-esteem carries over into all different facets.
Yeah. It really does, you know, and like we talked about earlier, making math and reading digestible and fun through construction really does help the student's self-esteem and confidence going forward. And so I love it. Okay, so you've been in the classroom. I've been able to do this virtually. I'm so jealous because the sound of like a bunch of kids hammering is like music to my ears. But what are some of the success stories that you've seen in the classroom?
Well, oh man, there've just been so many but a parent came up to me at the beginning of our time period, and she stopped me in the hallway and she said, "Are you the construction?" And I said, "Teacher, yes." And I didn't know what she was going to say about the class, right? And she just started telling me all the great things that her daughter had experienced. That they and not only just her building things. She said she always wants to. That's all she wants to do now is go out to the garage and build things. And she was pleased that she had the skills to do it safely. She also said it's changed the relationship between the daughter and the father because anytime he goes to Home Depot, she wants to go all the time. So that's been pretty impactful for that. And yeah, it's been great.
I love it too because you know we're teaching skills, but just using lumber as a vehicle, which is kind of a nice way to introduce it. But talk about like that aha moment where the student notices like the traditional classroom skills and the construction skills are actually the same skills.
Right. Well, it's, you know, they're just applying the standards that they learn and the knowledge that they gain from their math class and their science classes. And that makes it even more a win as well. They get to see that connection and bridge that gap between that knowledge that they heard about and learned in math, and now it's applicable here, and I'm having fun doing it. That's great to see also.
It is because like you know you get charged and gosh, I wish that I had that opportunity just to understand geometry a little bit better. So Clint, thank you for all that you're doing, not only with SEPCA, but with Mountain Park, because these kids, I want to hire them all already, you know, they're going to have great skills.
They've been great to work with. Mountain Park has just been great. The students are great there. It's just been awesome.
Love it. Well, let's bring Stacy back in because I want you two to geek out for a second because you're all a great team. And I kind of want to find out what's happening next. And so Stacy, real quick, what is next for Mountain Park construction?
Well, amazingly, last year we, thanks to all of Clint's work, we did the pilot with 5th grade. So for next year, we are expanding to 2nd through 5th grades, where every student, it's going to be over 600 kids, will get to participate in the construction class one day every week. It's going to be aligned to those math standards. They'll be doing the application. And so we're really, really excited about that.
This is brilliant. I wish I could be a 2nd grader again at Mountain Park because wow, this is really absolutely fantastic. I'm jealous. And please clone yourself, both of you, so we can take you around the country and have other schools participate with this. Well, let's go ahead and bring Scott back in because I would also love to hear his thoughts about this conversation. Such good information today. And so welcome back, Scott. What did you think about all this just great information, but then this lovely partnership between SEFCA and Mountain Park?
Well, like you said, I'm so glad that we were able to talk to Clint and Stacy today, because it was a good glimpse into, the work that we're doing here in Georgia and the work that we want to do across the country. So just so thankful to have their leadership here in Georgia. I mean, it's amazing. I love the story that Stacy shared about her own daughter being in the class and bringing home the floating shelves. And, and Clint's always sharing his stories about the impact that we're making. So I've heard those 2 or 3 times before, but I absolutely love hearing those individual stories of impact, and just knowing that this is just at one school, right? We want to have this impact across the state of Georgia and ultimately across the country. So, but this is where it starts with leaders like Stacy and Clint, in these local classrooms, and just excited for the work that they're doing and the impact that they're making here in Georgia.
It's gigantic, and really it's the partnership and making sure that, everybody is communicating. Stacy, you have great advice with that. And so let's see, I have another question actually coming in. Scott, can you talk about how schools can start similar programs?
Yeah, so the best way is just to contact SEFCA. We have a whole team of people, Zach Fields and Don Mann, who will help schools set up programs like this. And like Stacy said, really all the schools have to do is say yes, and provide some resources and some classroom space. And there's Stacy needs to give herself a little more credit. They do more than say yes, but saying yes is definitely the first step. And once a school says yes and wants to be part of this, we have a whole network, a whole team of people who will help that school make it happen. So that's really the way to make it happen, is to reach out to SEFCA, reach out to Zach Fields or Don Mann or Clint or anyone on our team, and we'll help you make it happen within your school if it's something you want to do.
I love it. What is the best website for our viewers to go check out more information?
Cefga.org, CEFGA.org. Check it out. And that's the best way to contact us, and, or through our Facebook page, and we'll work with you to make it happen.
Oh, fabulous. This is good. So everybody viewing, please check out that great information. We have, Stacy and Clint as great examples of what the program can do in the school. And SEFCA is really helping young people at every level. It's from, playing with blocks until you're building big blocks. So I absolutely love it.
Well, and that's exactly, we started the conversation today with this idea of Henry Flagler building these amazing, hotels and museums and homes. And this is really where it starts, right? We have to spark the interest at a really young age. And like Stacy said, not everyone, her daughter may not go on to become a builder, and that's fine. But, a lot of students will, a lot of students will one day go on and build a new hotel or a stadium or a grand house, but this is where it starts. They have to learn how to swing a hammer first, right? And they have to find out that this is something that they really enjoy. And then the cool thing is that we'll take them, as high as they want to go. If they want to go to a middle school program, a high school program, we have all of that in place, and you can take it as far as you want to go as an individual. If you want to work in our industry, we'll help you do that.
It is beyond fantastic. And really, Stacy, I would love to work with your daughter someday. Just saying, we need everybody.
100% of our middle school, our fifth graders said they wanted to go into middle school construction class.
Woohoo! I love that.
That's pretty exciting.
Yes.
That's a good percentage. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's keep that percentage, keep it 100, because really it's fun. And that's what I love that you're showing, is that, the industry can get tough. Some days you're hot and it's outside, but starting at this age, showing how fun it is to create, and then also giving students a bit of awareness on the world around them. Now they will go home and realize how things are constructed, or maybe not take things for granted as much as they did before, because they have the knowledge being taught and passed on. And so, oh my gosh, again, Georgia, you're knocking it out of the park. It's really impressive. And thank you again for Mountain Park for saying yes. They said no, do way more than that. So any other final thoughts from you three today?
I have one. Something that's come up a few times. I guess this is a little bit of advice for school people. There is a little bit of trepidation when people hear about it and thinking about second graders, like hammering in class. And I think that's an important piece to think about, that when we teach kids to use anything at school, it's the same concept, right? So we don't just like hand a whole bunch of second graders hammers and go at it, right? There are steps in making that safe and teaching kids how to use equipment. And there are absolutely safe ways that 7-year-olds can use hammers in class. So I think that that's an important thing for anybody who's thinking about this in schools to understand, that we're not just throwing everybody at a circular saw. There are a lot of safety procedures in place. And just like we teach long division step by step, that's how we teach hammering.
Thank you so much for saying that, because I know there has been a little trepidation from teachers and the concern with that, but we are safe. You have to teach safety before you use a skill saw, for sure. We're going to keep all their fingers attached until they're much, much older. I love it. Well, thank you all for joining us again for lunch. This has been fabulous. And I really hope a lot of our viewers take this information and also run with it, and then also put it into their schools. And so we did bring up the sefca.org website. Feel free to reach out. Again, Zach Fields, Don Mann, we're all friends. Call them up and see how they can help you. Also, Clint, now you know what he looks like, so you can call him up and be friends. And so Clint, Stacy, and Scott, thank you again for joining us for lunch this week. And next week, we're actually off because, believe it or not, school is starting again. What? How did this happen? When did it become August? So we will be back for lunch on August 10th, where I'm insanely excited to be talking with Mike Plant, who part of the Braves, but also we're going to be talking about the construction of the battery where the Atlanta Braves Stadium is now at. And this is a massive undertaking. The project was huge, and I can't wait to geek out because they even have an elevator testing center, which I've never even seen before. So friends, we're going to get our nerd on. It's going to be fabulous. And so again, friends, thank you so much for an awesome lunch, and we will see you next week or in the future time.
Sounds good, Kayleen. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thanks, you too.
Thanks, Clint.